and welcome back to Arthelia's Vintage and Handmade. I'm Naomi, and if you follow me on Instagram at Arthelia's Vintage and Handmade, you may have recently seen that I had quite a little haul from our local library sale. I really love to collect certain kinds of books, old books, movie books, books that either were had movies based on them from 30s, 40s, 50s, or that they made the book after the movie came out. Sometimes you'll see they'll have the actors and actresses who portrayed the roles in the movie on the book cover. Sometimes they do it after the fact that way also. They'll make a reissue of the book that way. But I really like that, and I've read most of the ones that I have. As you can see over here, I've got quite a collection. Most of them are over here. I also collect the biographies and autobiographies of some of the stars that I like. What our library sale does is they divide up their sales based on what type of book it is. So the first sale this year was mostly fiction, so that's what I got this year. So I'd like to show you those. If you're interested in old books like me, you might enjoy this video. So here we go. I'm starting with two books that I didn't get there, but I did just pick them up recently, so I thought I would go ahead, instead of including these in my vintage haul, since they're books, I'd put these in too. This is from Belle Starr Antiques and Vintage Market. I mentioned in most of my videos, my vintage mostly comes from there. I do work there also. Great place to be, great place to visit if you're not in Arkansas, but if you're traveling through, don't miss it. We are in the downtown area. Great place. We get so many people that travel from across the country or are passing through to come see us, and we would love to have you. This book I got there recently. It's Louisa May Alcott's 8 Cousins. This is one I was not familiar with when I was young. I read Little Women, Little Men, Joe's Boys, those books, but I was not familiar with this one, so I thought I would grab this one. It's an older copy. It looks like, I can't really... Usually I can tell what edition it is. The newest, the most recent copyright listed in here, I mean the original is 1874, but the most recent listed is 1927. I don't think this is a 1927 copy. It just doesn't look like it to me. It looks more like 50s or 60s, but I don't care. It has its dust jacket. It's seen better days, but it's Louisa May Alcott. Maybe sometime I'll, you know, sitting by the pool or something, have a little read. And the other one I got also from Belle Starr is a book that I have seen there several times, go through it, many different price points, and I hadn't grabbed one, but I really have wanted one, and this one was a very good price. It's the Betty Crocker's Picture Cookbook. This is a 1950s book. This is the first edition, but it is not the first printing. It is, I read it in here, the 8th printing, first edition. I love this book. It's such a deceiving book because you think, oh, it's going to be, this is a heavy book. And it is chock full of wonderful line drawings and photographs. I love vintage photos of foods. I love these little characters they have. This is just a great book. I grew up using my grandmother's Betty Crocker book, just her basic standard one, which they continue to reissue to this day. You can still buy a modern copy. They keep a lot of the classic recipes. I still have that copy. It has seen much better days. It has been taped up and everything, but I love it. It has a lot of the recipes we've used and highlighted and things in it. But this one is a little bit different. This one may have been started before the other one, because I don't think the other one is called Picture Cookbook. I'll have to double check on that. Maybe it is. Maybe it is the Picture Cookbook and it's just the later version. I think her copy was from the 1960s. But those have photographs in them also. But yeah, $8 I paid for this one. I've seen them as high as like $35, $36 sometimes online. But yeah, great book, great to look through, great to cook from. Betty Crocker recipes are always good. Sometimes you'll find old cookbooks where their recipes are not as tested or weird, but these have a lot of basics that we still use today. So happy to have a copy of that that's older. Okay, on to the library book. So some of these I pick up just because they strike me as something interesting. I don't necessarily know what they are. For example, The Moon and Sixpence by Somerset Maugham, famous writer. This is a book from 1919. And it discusses, usually you see this in things like books from the 1940s. It says this book, while produced under wartime conditions in full compliance with government regulations for the conservation of paper and the essential materials, is complete and unabridged. So it's referring to the First World War, which is very interesting. But I was drawn to the inside drawing. Looked interesting. So it is very delicate. You can tell they used much cheaper paper. It's very lightweight. It's very brown. It's very old. But into my collection. Okay, the next one that I picked up because I thought it was cute is a book called Winnies Luck by Mary T. I can't make out her name there. Let's see inside. Wagaman. It's just a little small petite book. I believe it's from the 1930s. 1930, yes. So just a nice, little story. Not sure what it's about. Doesn't have like inside because it doesn't have a paper cover. But I also like to see, because not all the books from our library are from the library itself. Most and many of them are, but a lot of times they're books that people have donated to them to sell, and you will get the original location where they're from, another library, the person's name, things like that. This one said it was from St. Joseph's School Library, 25 South Spruce, Paris, Arkansas. So this was in a school library. Alright, next up, I have another one that I bought because it seemed fascinating. And it has its paper cover, but it is definitely seen its day. This is a novel of youth and Los Angeles today. Angel Town by Charles Grayson. Great picture. Had me at the cover. Don't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes you can. This one was owned by Mildred Garble, maybe? It's script and I can't tell for sure. This book is from 1946. So modern Los Angeles in 1946. It says it is the dilemma of young people caught in the conflict between the rich who have known better days and the poor who find themselves suddenly rich serves as the central theme of Charles Grayson's novel of Los Angeles in the early 1940s and of a group of young men and women trying to find meaning in this place and time. Hugh Conning came from an old and impoverished Los Angeles family, and Mary Willoughby, with whom he fell in love when he was still in high school, was a social nobody with a great deal of money. That this money came from the fashionable gambling house that her mother ran, even Mary didn't know. But Felix Rhinelander, who had both money and social prestige, found out and intended to use the information as a weapon to get Mary for himself. Love it! More poolside reading. Oh, and also, side note, since I'm downstairs filming this, we may have guests pop in every now and then that come to say hello. You came into this shot, so now you have to say hello. This is Mr. Theodore. Can you say hi? He usually puts his paw up to say hi. Can you say hi, Theodore? He's not going to have any of it. But we may have visits from other cats, since this is the filming location for the segment today. So off you go, Theodore. Okay, so where were we? Another one I didn't know anything about. It's called The Purple Land by W.H. Hudson, author of Green Mansions, illustrated by Keith Henderson. This work was first issued in 1885 by Monsieur Sampson Low in 2 slim volumes with the longer and to most persons enigmatical title of The Purple Land That England Lost. So it's definitely an older book. It has very nice artwork in it. Different characters all in the beginning. Nicely done. So I'll have to look into that more to see what that's about, but it says it's a vivid tale of intrigue and revolution on the South American pampas. It is the story of a wanderer in quest of fortune and adventure who becomes embroiled in a local revolution. So, interesting. It looks like it's a 1940s issue of it. That's what it strikes me as, is the artwork. Okay, moving along. A classic, Cherry Ames, Army Nurse. These one of the serial type books. This one is by Helen Wells. I don't know if they were all done by her. I have not researched these much. I know like Nancy Drew has multiple authors. But this one is about Cherry Ames being an Army nurse. So these are always cute, fun little juvenile reads. And all these library books I got, we went on the half price day, so they were 50 cents a piece. Can't beat that. Even if it's a book you're not sure about, you can always pass it on. A couple of modern books. I picked up the Dollhouse. I have not heard of this. This is a recent novel. It is the first novel by the author Fiona Davis, but I am definitely all about what the subject matter is. Let's see when this book is from. 2017. So, 2 years ago. Fiona Davis' stunning debut novel pulls readers into the lush world of New York City's glamorous Barbizon Hotel for Women, where in the 1950s, a generation of aspiring models, secretaries, and editors lived side by side while attempting to claw their way to fairy tale success, and where a present-day journalist becomes consumed with uncovering a dark secret buried deep within the Barbizon glitzy past. So, very Mad Men-esque, fun read, good to take on vacation, because not old, if I can get a vacation. Anyway, definitely right up my alley. Looking forward to seeing what this is all about. And then, of course, classic fun movie, Devil Wears Prada. Had to pick that up. 50 cents. And the last of the newer novels I got is a copy of The Help. I really enjoyed the movie, so I'm thinking the book is probably better. This is the long one. And I've heard good things about this in the past. I know it was big when it came out, so another fun one. Okay, and I think that is all for that type. And the next are going to be the movie books. Yeah. Okay, so first one, and I have not looked up this specific copy online, but from what I have heard, these tend to run for a pretty penny. I mean, this is just a pocket book, so I don't know. This edition is from 1972. I don't know how much value this one specifically has, but hey, I'm glad to just have it. Dashiell Hammett's The Thin Man. So Thin Man movies are fabulous, wonderful, some of my favorites. So I would definitely like to read the little book and see how it compares. This one, Mrs. Miniver, another movie book, World War II story, big tearjerker. I think it won an Academy Award, if I'm not mistaken. Has lots of, no spoilers if you haven't seen it. I don't know how big my audience is on classic movies, so I don't want to spoil if you haven't seen these things, but definitely a tearjerker. I've seen it maybe once or twice. I can't watch it a lot because it's sad, but good story, very popular. Author is J. Struther, so copy of that. Another one, Gentleman's Agreement, another movie book. Laura Z. Hobson is the author. 1947 is the copyright on this one. Excuse me. The original is 46. This issue is 47. This is another movie. Add that to my collection for that. Oops, I missed one that is not a movie. This is another one I just picked up because it looked super interesting. Paper jacket. Those Other People, Mary King O'Donnell. Southern novel, I believe. It has great line drawings. They remind me of, I don't know if anyone is a fan of Robert Benchley. I love Robert Benchley in the movies and shorts he did. He's also a wonderful humor writer. His son is Peter Benchley, who did Jaws, but his dad is great and funny and part of the Algonquin Round Table. Can't beat a Benchley book for making you laugh till you cry. But they always have funny little line drawings in those books, and the line drawings in this book remind me a lot of it. I love this style of illustration. I find it so cute, and you have the little description of what's going on. It says, the French market sounded like a flock of parrots. So what's going on? Makes you definitely want to read the book and find out. I'm intrigued. Those Other People, if you're interested, see if you can find it online. And the last two of my movie books that I got, this one I may have a copy of that already belonged to my grandmother. I may have it sitting right up here. I haven't even double checked, but for 50 cents, I wasn't going to leave it behind. I can always have a duplicate. I might pop it in my Etsy shop if anyone is interested in it. And I already have another copy. It's Green Dolphin Street. This movie stars Lana Turner, Donna Reed, forget who the men in it are off the top of my head, but it is quite a saga. Goes through a lot of time in their lives. Good movie, so gotta have the book. And this one is the one that made me the happiest. This seems like it was never even touched or read or anything. I absolutely love this movie. A lot of times when you watch classic movies, you don't even realize that they're based on books. They may say, you know, based on the novel by, but, you know, sometimes you're just not paying attention to those beginning credits. And this is one I didn't realize, but it's by George Victor Martin. It's Our Vines Have Tender Grapes, and it has the movie pictures on it. Little Margaret O'Brien. How sweet. She's even on the side. And this is like a book club copy, I believe. They did other classic libraries books. On the back it gives you some of the other titles, which I'm definitely going to have to see if I can search and find, because these are great copies. I mean, look, right inside you've got more photos from the movie. You've got photos throughout here and there. The back cover has photo scenes from the movie. It's been a while since I've seen this movie, but I have seen it a number of times, and I really do like it. It's a very sweet family story. And And nothing tragic really happens. Nothing long lasting anyway. Edward G. Robinson. So cute. I really love this one. I mean, this book alone was worth my trip there. Not that it's far. It's just, you know, a few blocks away. But I've missed a few of the last sales. But, you know, sometimes you find a treasure. Sometimes I come home with nothing. This makes it. I'm just so thrilled to have this. The back, though, tells the other ones. There's a copy of State Fair, which is one of my all-time favorite movies with Gene Crane and Dana Andrews. I love that movie. It's a musical. I love the clothing in that movie that Gene Crane wears. Ugh, every one of her dresses is on my wish list. But to have a copy of that book with them on the cover, that would be great. Also, Love Letters with Jennifer Jones and Joseph Cotton, another wonderful movie. There's a book copy of that with them on the cover. And then Weekend at the Waldorf, there's a novelized version. Since that was not a book first, it's actually Weekend at the Weekend at the Waldorf is a remake of, oh my goodness, it just went right out of my head, Grand Hotel. And so there's not a novel. They made it a story afterward. But the Weekend at the Waldorf is with Ginger Rogers and Walter Pidgeon, Lana Turner, Van Johnson. I really love that one. Edward Arnold, Keenan Wynn, Robert Benchley, yes. So I will have to definitely be on the hunt to see if I can find the copies of these other ones, because this is a great book, and to have one with the photos in it, it's really special. So I really love that. Anyway, that's all I have for this edition of, you know, book haul. Don't know how often. I don't get a ton of books that often because I have so many. I really try to steer clear. But if you'd like to see more videos like this, if you'd like to see specifically my other movie books or my ones that are about movies, old movie stars and things, what I have, sometimes I have ones on the old studios, Warner Brothers, things like that. If you want to see what I've got over here, I can surely make you a book collection video or two, depending on, you know, what you'd like to see. So leave in the comments below. Tell me which books you like. Which ones did you like that I got? Do you have any of these? Do you have any special ones that you absolutely love? Do you have that thing where you want a book based on a movie? I really love to hear from you, and tell me which ones you want to see for the new videos. And until next time, I'll have more hauls coming up if you're interested in any of those. Vintage collectibles and fashion haul coming up, and that's about all I've got. So I will say, please like, please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you for coming back and watching. Share if you like what you see here. Share with the others in your community that may like the same things. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I will see you then.